This is College Football 26 Dynasty with the perfect Power 4. Okay, so this is based on the video that I did yesterday where I ranked all 136 FBS teams based on final rankings from computer polls at the end of each season from 2014 through 2024. So 11 seasons, the entire college football playoff era up until now. And we took those teams and put them into rankings based on the top 64 being in the Power 4 in four different 6-team conferences, and the bottom 72 are all in their own 12-team G6 conferences. Then we put all those teams together. We're going to sim them through 3 seasons and see who's the best at the end, best conference, all the things that we usually do. If you did watch that video yesterday, you know that I was talking about doing this on Thursday, but I decided to do it today because we're going to go all in on College Football 26 videos. 4 times a week, you can come here and watch a College Football 26 video. On Tuesdays, we'll still be using our regular conference realignment videos where I go through all the methodology and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to see those simmed out or different sims through College Football 26 Dynasty, come right here 4 days a week and you can see those videos. But that's enough of a preamble. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We're rolling with SMU today because I got this Dallas hat on, or this Rangers hat on, I should say. So Dallas, Fort Worth. We're going with SMU. Let's go ahead and look at the conference standings. There's a few things that we'll point out. So SMU is in the SEC here. We have teams like Memphis and Houston that have also made their way over here. There will be some questions about that. The big reason for that is because I wanted to strengthen the ACC. The ACC is pretty weak when you go through the top 64. Quite a few teams drop down, and if you just keep ACC teams and teams that would move up to the ACC, you're looking at an average ranking of below 40, which in my opinion is kind of the cutoff for a power team in the top 40. So we moved Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Texas all over here to kind of strengthen that. Georgia Tech, SMU, and Houston were the teams that replaced them in the SEC. If you don't like it, that's fine. We're going to see how they perform in the SEC. The rest of them, you can kind of pause on it. Not really big things. Big 12 is kind of like a Pac-12, Big 12 mashup because we wanted to kind of do 4 corners kind of thing as best as we could. So pretty interesting conference in my opinion. Big 10, we moved Notre Dame into the Big 10. There are no independents in this setup. West Virginia and Pitt would be some interesting ones in there as well. Conference USA, and yeah, there's the G5 ones. The Pac-12 is basically the Mountain West, I guess, because that's the second tier in the West, and then the Sun Belt. Yeah, so some interesting teams that drop down, or like Virginia, Syracuse, Maryland, but for the most part, the teams that you would expect are in the Power 5. So we're going to sim to the end of the first season. We'll show up at the conference championship games and see who has performed in the first season in their new conferences in some cases. Okay, SMU has struggled dearly in the first season. They're 4-8. This might be the first time that I get fired from a job. But the ACC championship game, we've got Miami versus Texas A&M, a top 5 matchup. So Texas A&M makes waves in their first season in the ACC. Boston College and Syracuse are matching off in the American. We should see a high number of Power 5 teams that move down, dominating the G6 conferences, or Power 4 teams dominating the G6 conferences. Big 12 championship, we've got Oregon versus Texas Tech. This is the first time in any of our videos that we've done so far that Oregon and USC have not faced off in their conference championship game. So very interesting to see that there. I guess we haven't had Texas Tech in there, and Texas Tech is very good in this game and in real life. Ohio State and Penn State in the Big 10 championship game. Virginia, another Power 4 team that dropped down, taking on FIU in the Conference USA championship game. Purdue, another drop down in the MAC against Miami of Ohio. Kansas, another one that dropped down, number 12 and 12-0, taking on North Texas in the Mountain West. So they should be in the playoff if they win that game. Oregon State, Colorado in the Pac-12, the Pac-12 championship that never was. Florida versus Georgia in the SEC, and then Vanderbilt in the Sun Belt against Arkansas State. So every single G6 conference has a team that has dropped down, including the Pac-12, because Colorado dropped down, in their conference championship game. Only FIU, Arkansas State, I guess Oregon State to a degree, North Texas are teams that didn't drop down that are in those conference championship games. Okay, so the CFP bracket in our first season. Virginia qualifies as the last conference champion, number 20. They'll take on Miami, who apparently lost in their conference championship game in the first round. The winner will take on Louisville, who's also an ACC team. So Miami's an ACC team, Louisville's an ACC team. Virginia is a Sun Belt team, I believe. No, Conference USA team. No, Yeah, Conference USA team. So the winner will take on Louisville, who is a first round bye non-conference champion. BYU out of the Big 12 will take on Florida out of the SEC. Winner will take on Ohio State, number one team in the country. Georgia out of the SEC, who also is outside the top 12, qualifies as a conference champion. So that means that Kansas must have lost their conference championship game. Interesting. They will take on Iowa State in the first round out of the Big 10. A winner will take on the ACC champion Texas A&M. Texas Tech, who is out of the Big 12, will take on Oklahoma out of the ACC. The winner will take on Oregon, the Big 12 conference champion. So we have 1, 2, 3 Big 12 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4 ACC teams, 2 SEC teams, 2 Big 10 teams, and 1 Conference USA, Conference USA teams in our first college football playoff. Okay, so we've got Virginia gets kind of smacked by Miami in the first round. Not surprising, the number 20 team makes it to the college football playoff. Probably what's going to happen this year when they have a maybe unranked G5 team make the playoff. So ACC, all ACC matchup in the Cotton Bowl between Louisville and Miami. Florida State, Ohio State in the Rose Bowl after Florida State sneaks past BYU by 1 point, 28-27 in the first round. Georgia wrecks Iowa State on their home field. 52-14, they will take on Texas A&M in an ACC-SEC matchup. Texas Tech sneaks past Oklahoma in an old school Big 12 matchup. It's the current Big 12 versus the ACC. So we've got an all Big 12 matchup in the Sugar Bowl with Oregon versus Texas Tech. All upsets in the second round there. No team with a bye won their first game of the 2025 college football playoff. So Miami beats Louisville by 13, 34-21. Florida beat Ohio State by a touchdown, 23-17. They will match up in the Peach Bowl, an all-Florida matchup in the Peach Bowl. Georgia beats Texas A&M, doubles them up in the Orange Bowl. They'll take on Texas Tech, who beat Oregon 49-28 in the Fiesta Bowl. So, 1 ACC, 2 SEC, 1 Big 12 in the first semifinal, and 3 teams from the geographic southeast of the United States in the semifinal. Okay, so our first national championship is Miami versus Texas Tech. Miami sneaks past Florida by 6. Texas Tech takes care of Georgia pretty well, 41-17. So it's in Miami, so Miami definitely has the home field advantage, but it's an ACC versus Big 12 matchup for our first national championship. Okay, so Texas Tech takes its destiny run after getting beat in the Big 12 championship game. They run through 4 straight games. They take down Miami on the road in the national championship game. They're the 2025 national champions, and the Big 12 has our first national championship of the video. Okay, a better season from SMU this year. They're going to go to a playoff game at 7-5, but our conference championship games, we have Virginia, who made the college football playoff last season, is number 12, 12-0 in the Conference USA Championship, taking on East Carolina. Arizona at Colorado in the Pac-12. Rice and North Texas. North Texas makes its way back to the Mountain West Championship game after, I think, winning last season and knocking Kansas out of the playoff. So that's interesting there. Illinois versus Central Michigan. Oh, this is our first all G5 with no drop-down teams in our G6 and no drop-down teams in our G6 conference championship game. So that's interesting. We have number 1 UCLA. We know we're in a land of fiction because we have number 1 UCLA. I haven't seen the Heisman yet, but it very well probably is Nico Iamaleava if we number 1 UCLA. Oregon makes it to its 8th straight championship game in our videos. Just want to let you know that Oregon dominates in our videos. They won a national championship game last time too, so just letting you know. Another all G5 championship in the Sun Belt, Tulane against Jacksonville State. Florida and Georgia, the world's largest cocktail party, is back in the SEC championship game. I don't think Florida was in it last year. They made the playoff, but they weren't in the SEC championship game. Georgia, of course, won the SEC championship game last season and made a run from number 17. Maryland, Syracuse in the American Football Championship game. So Syracuse wins, they're in. Virginia wins, they're in. Who? Oh, no, not necessarily. Well, yes, because they're top 12, but they won't. It'll be interesting to see if we have 2 G5 teams here, 2 G6 teams. Big 10 championship, Ohio State and Penn State yet again. And then our ACC championship game is Texas-Louisville. I can't remember who it was last season. I know Louisville made the championship game. It was Miami Texas A&M last season, which both teams ended up making the playoff. Texas A&M won it. So we'll see if Texas can win it in the second season or if Louisville, who was the best team in the conference last season, can win it again or can win it this season. Okay, so as I predicted, Nico did win the Heisman with number 1 UCLA. I didn't see if they've won the Big 12 championship game yet, but they did win. Texas Tech and SMU in the Texas Bowl. Now that's a fucking game right there. We like that. Okay, SMU makes their first bowl game of the video. Let's check out this bracket here. So, North Texas makes it in. So, Texas is doing quite well this season. They've got SMU back on the map. North Texas makes it in as a G6 representative. They'll take on Georgia in the first round of the 5-12. The winner will take on Duke. What's going on? Duke and the ACC. So, the ACC has done pretty well so far. Louisville and Penn State will match up in the first round, the winner taking on number 1 UCLA, who was the Big 12 conference champion. So Big 12 is off to a hot start here in the first 2 seasons. Oregon, Ohio State, with the winner taking on Florida in the second round in the Fiesta Bowl. And then Tennessee, Nebraska and the winner will take on Texas in the Orange Bowl. So Oregon, Ohio State, Louisville, Georgia are all, Florida are all second time in the college football playoffs. So that's 5 teams that are second time. Tennessee, Nebraska, Texas, UCLA, Duke, North Texas, and Penn State. So 7 teams that are new in the second college football playoff that we've got here. So Georgia beats North Texas 48-0. They killed Virginia last year too. So Georgia's getting the easy matchups. No, Georgia didn't play. Miami played Virginia last year. I don't know. Whoever played Virginia, the G6 representative got killed last year too. So that is a theme so far. The Cotton Bowl is going to be Duke, Georgia. Interesting matchup. Louisville beats Penn State, gets their first CFP win because they lost in a bye last season. They'll take on number 1 UCLA in the Peach Bowl. Not sure why UCLA did not get the Fiesta Bowl, but okay. Oregon loses to Ohio State, so they're 0-2 in the CFP so far. Ohio State gets their first win after being knocked off as a bye team last year. Tennessee beats Nebraska in a 90s game, and Tennessee will take on Texas in the Orange Bowl. So we have 1, 2, 3 SEC teams, 1, 2, 3 ACC teams, 1 Big 10 team, 1 Big 12 team in our quarterfinal. SMU could not pull off the upset in the Texas Bowl. They lost to Texas Tech, so they're 7-6 this season. A big improvement from last year when they went 4-8, but still no bowl win in the first 2 seasons. Georgia beats Duke. They're in the semifinal for the second straight season. They won 42-23. They'll take on UCLA, number 1 team in the country, who doubled up Louisville in the Peach Bowl. UCLA, Georgia in the Sugar Bowl for the semifinal. Then we have an all-SEC matchup. Florida takes down Ohio State. I want to say they played last season too. So Florida is 2-0 against Ohio State in the CFP. They'll take on Tennessee, who snuck past Texas. We got 2 one-score games at the bottom, 2 blowouts in the top. So we have 3 SEC teams in the semifinal. Can the SEC pull it off? This is similar to what the Big 12 did last video, where they had a bunch of runners-up, but they could never quite win it. So we'll see if the SEC can pull something off and get into the national championship game with 2 teams here. Okay, high-scoring games in the semifinal. Florida beats Tennessee 63-44 in the Rose Bowl. UCLA knocks off Georgia 48-17. So we've got UCLA, Florida in the national championship game here. If the SEC wins, they take the lead. Florida wins, the SEC takes the lead in best conference. If UCLA wins, Big 12 basically wraps up the best conference in the first 2 seasons with 2 straight national championships. Okay, so Florida scores 63 points in 2 straight games to close out the 2026 national championship game. They take down UCLA 63-49. So the SEC takes the lead, I would say, as far as best conference. And Florida, who made it to the semifinal last season and then wins it this season, is in the lead for the best team after 2 seasons. So let's see what happens next season. What we're looking for is, can SMU win a bowl game or maybe even make a run for the SEC championship game? That would be very interesting to see if they can pull that off. Who is going to emerge as a 3rd best conference, because it's really dominated by the Big 12 and the SEC. If somebody else can win it, we really go down to tiebreakers, I guess. And then is Florida or Texas Tech going to repeat as a national champion and take the best team crown? SMU went 3-9. Although they're in a running for the 5-star quarterback. They went 3-9 this season. They have failed us. This has been the worst team. My highest expectations, the best team we started with, and SMU has done the worst. Maybe it's because they're in the SEC, but I think SMU is just overrated in the first season of this game. Okay, Virginia makes it to their third straight Conference USA championship game. They won the first year, lost last year. This year, they probably don't get in the playoff even if they do win because they're 8-4, but they could win 2 straight. Oregon State makes it back to the Pac-12 championship game. They are 11-1. They'll take on Fresno State. Kansas and North Texas have a rematch of the first year Mountain West Conference championship game. North Texas made the playoff last year and spoiled Kansas's chances in the first season. So we'll see if Kansas can make it back to the Mountain West championship game to the playoff, can make it to the playoff this season. Illinois is in another MAC championship game against Ball State. For the first time, Oregon is not in their conference championship game in one of our videos. So that is interesting to see there. They have not really performed super well this sim, especially in the playoffs. So it's Washington, Texas Tech. Texas Tech has a chance. They should be in the playoff regardless of the outcome of this game. They have a chance to win another national championship and take home the best team. Another all G6 championship game there. Boston College and Syracuse in a highly rated American championship game. Sometimes Boston College does really well in CFB 26. So Boston College should probably make the playoff regardless of the outcome. LSU and Georgia. Georgia's in his third straight SEC championship game. They are in the running for best team if they win the national championship this season. Miami, Texas in the ACC championship game, and then Ohio State is in its third straight Big Ten. They will take on Michigan for the Big Ten championship. Oh yeah, and I got fired at the end of the season with SMU. So this is by far the worst outcome that we've had as our individual team in one of these videos. Just for fun, we could stay alive in the SEC. We're going to take the Ole Miss head coach job. I think that's better than Memphis. So Rhett Lashley goes to Ole Miss after getting fired at SMU, which I would say is a step up. So interesting that we were able to pull that off after getting fired. Okay, our final CFP. So Kansas finally makes it in after winning the Mountain West championship game. They'll take on Michigan, who looks like lost in their championship game. In the first round, winner will take on Nebraska. It's both of their first times in, Nebraska's second time in. Louisville is in for the third time, Texas in for the second time. The winner will take on 3-time CFP participant Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Georgia's in for the third time. They take on American champion Boston College. And the winner will take on Texas Tech, who's in for their second time, and it is a national champion in the first year. So Georgia's in for the third time. Boston College is in for this first time. Georgia must have lost the SEC championship game because they didn't qualify as a national or as a conference champion. LSU won the conference championship. Washington and Tennessee. Tennessee's in for their second time. Washington and LSU are in for their first time. The winner of that game will take on LSU in the Sugar Bowl, which LSU gets a home game in their first college football playoff game, even though it's a quarterfinal. I've never been fired in this game, so it's interesting that you can continue to recruit for SMU during this time and whatever you want to do after you get fired. It's interesting. Okay, so Michigan beats Kansas. So Kansas has their best impression or best job of any G5 team, G6 team in the college football playoff, but they lose to Michigan. Michigan will take on Nebraska in an all Big Ten matchup. Louisville loses against Texas. Texas will take on Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Louisville was one of the better teams in this sim, but they could not quite get it done in the college football playoff. Georgia gets another win in the college football playoff. Again, they are in the running. That probably right there is a bowl game for the college football or for the best team in college football. Texas Tech versus Georgia. I would bet on the winner of that winning the national championship and winning the best team. They beat Boston College in the first round. Super high scoring game. 102 points scored between Washington and Tennessee. Washington will take on LSU in the Sugar Bowl. Tennessee was in a game against Florida where they gave up 63 points. So in their last 2 CFP games, they've given up 115 points. That's college football. That's not college basketball. That's college football. So Tennessee's defense needs a little bit of an upgrade, I would say. Okay, so Michigan basically doubles up Nebraska. Texas basically doubles up Ohio State. So we've got Michigan, Texas in the Orange Bowl. And then Georgia more than doubles up Texas Tech, who was in the running for best team. They'll take on LSU, who's beat Washington 58-56. What is going on with these scores? So Washington has given up 108 points in their last 2 college, and their only 2 college football playoff games, and they've scored 108 points. So at least they're even. At least it's, 50-50, but damn, their defense sucks. Okay, so Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Texas. So really, SEC has a chance to win the best team or best conference. Georgia has a chance to win the best team. If they don't win, it'll be very interesting to see. I think it goes Big Ten. I don't know. ACC's been pretty good too, so we'll see. Okay, so LSU beats Georgia 41-14 to go to the national championship game. Texas beats Michigan to go to the national championship game. So we have ACC, SEC. Now, this is very interesting. I think almost certainly the SEC wins the best conference, as they've had multiple semifinal teams every single season. Georgia probably, I think it's Florida that probably wins the best team because they won a national championship game and made it to the semifinal. Georgia would definitely be in the running there, but they never won a national championship game. Louisville would be up there as well, Ohio State. But the big thing here is that the Power 4 conferences dominated. As expected, we put all the best teams in the Power 4, but they dominated the entire sim here with the perfect Power 4. Okay, so Texas wraps up the 2027 national championship game. They win 35-20 over LSU, giving them their only loss of the season. It's very interesting. The ACC was very strong, but they didn't really make a lot of semifinals. They had a lot of teams in the playoff, but this is really their only run that they've made that was successful. Miami did make a good run in the first season, but I think that the SEC still wins it with Florida's win last year. They had definitely the most semifinal teams. So we're going to give it to the SEC, and then we're going to give the best team to Florida. But Texas, Texas did not make the playoff for the first season. They would have been in the running. Texas Tech missed the playoffs, and Florida State missed the playoffs. Texas Tech did not make the semifinal in their first, or in their, it didn't make it twice. They only made it once in the season they won. So we have to give it to Florida and the SEC. We have yet to have a team from the non-best conference win it. I think maybe we'll see that if we do a longer video. But that's what we've got. Texas wins the final one. Florida wins the best team overall. SEC wins the best conference for this video. But thanks for watching that video. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hype the video. Help small content creators. I'm a small content creator, and I could use all the help I can get. If you made it this far, leave a comment and let me know what you think. Do you like the way that this video went out with a perfect Power 4? Would you like to have had more focus on the G6 because of you watched the last video and we're looking forward to that? Or do you like just this setup with the perfect Power 4? Like I said, we're going to be doing more College Football 26 videos as we go. 4 times a week, maybe even 5 times a week. Sometimes I might post on a Saturday just to keep more videos up for you guys. And we'll still have our conference realignment videos. And every once in a while, I'll pop in with a little bit of a different video. But for the most part, these are the kind of videos that we're going to be doing going forward. Seems like you guys like them. It's much less work for me to do these, and I think I'm getting the same kind of hitting the same vein for you guys, which is to see how conferences turn out when you shake them up. If you want to watch more videos, I do have this for you. So over here, I got the video that I did yesterday, which is the setup for the perfect Power 4. So go ahead and check that one out if you want a little bit more of the methodology and the rankings and all that kind of stuff. Up here, I got my video from last week, which is College Football 26, but conferences from 1996. So check that one out if you like it. I've got my subscribe link on this side, and we'll check you next time. See ya!